Hello everyone, and welcome back to another off week for the Backlog Bunker. This week I want to talk about the Kingdom Hearts community on Twitter, because it's about a sentiment that I've seen a lot over the years, but that I can actually address now that I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. That being, is Kingdom Hearts simple? The short answer is no, of course not. But if it were that easy, I wouldn't be talking about it this week. So the long answer is no, of course not. Are you fucking stupid? Have you played the games? A lot of the time, from Kingdom Hearts fans, when I see people respond to this criticism of Kingdom Hearts that it's complicated or convoluted or whatever, the response is like, it's not even that hard, bro. A guy goes around with a key and he hits monsters, that's it. And every time I see that, it's always the same conclusion, which is, of course Kingdom Hearts is gonna sound simple when you dumb down the plot. If you skip over all the details and only talk about the very basic premise of the game, which is something I see very often, is that people will be like, what's the plot of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance? And they'll explain the premise of the game, which is, Sora and Riku have to go into the sleeping world to free all the keyholes. And it's like, yeah, it's the premise of the game. It's not like what actually happens in it. But yeah, if you only talk about the very basic shit that happens in the game, it's obviously going to sound really simple. But that's never what anyone's talking about when they say Kingdom Hearts is complicated. When people give the premise of the game as an answer, it makes me think they're just being obtuse on purpose, because you have to know what the person is talking about. You've played Kingdom Hearts. Presumably you know it's not all just cut and dry. But then, even when people do get into the minutia and the details of the games, they just skip over the details that actually confuse people. Again, it's obviously going to seem simple to you when you don't care about anything the game actually explains, and you'll just let it gloss over you with your eyes glazed over. The most recent example I have of this came from an engagement I had on Twitter.com, which, yes, I know, big mistake. But one of the people in the comments was asking questions about the game, because obviously Dream Drop is a very confusing game when you get into the minutia of it, and one of the questions they asked was, hey, why was Ursula there at the beginning of the game? Because obviously to us as video game players, it's just there as a tutorial, but in universe, like, what's the reason for Ursula being there? And the person that was responding, which again was the original person who said that Kingdom Hearts isn't complicated, their answer was, it's never fully explained, and then they gave a bunch of bullshit speculation. And I'm not gonna say this one person is emblematic of all Kingdom Hearts fans who say these things, but I find it very funny that the same person who said Kingdom Hearts isn't complicated is also the same person that just says, I don't know what happens, but this is what I think happened, and that makes sense. Like, wow, the explanation you came up with in your own head made more sense to you? That's crazy. But then there was the other engagement I had with someone where they were trying to explain how time travel works, and again, they had to come up with their own explanation for how it worked. To give a TLDR of my problem with time travel and Dream Drop Distance, they explain that you can't change the past, when that's just not true. You can change the past, just not explicitly. You can influence the actions of your previous self, but you can't actually just tell them to do something, or make them do something, or change the events yourself. But if you influence your past self to do things he didn't originally do, then you changed your past. So why does the game say that you can't do that? I don't know. Maybe they just lied. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 comes around, and Sora does just change the past. So are the characters stupid, or did Nomura just lie? This is why people say the Kingdom Hearts is confusing, because contradictions like this come up, and people go, well, what the fuck's that all about? But then the person I'm talking to on Twitter is like, oh, well actually Kingdom Hearts is a closed time loop. Which, if you don't know, basically just means that every time travel change you did make was already supposed to happen. Like, if you go back and kill your grandfather, it turns out that actually wasn't your grandfather the whole time. But again, that was an explanation that person came up with on their own, and again, that doesn't even clear up the confusion part, because even if you explain that to someone, even if it was true that Kingdom Hearts was a closed time loop, or no, it was a stable time loop, that's what it was, even if you explain that to someone, how the fuck would they know what a stable time loop is? Like, my TLDR explanation makes sense to me because I have experience in watching time travel stories, and also it's in Doctor Who. But if Dream Drop was someone's first time travel story, how the fuck would you explain a stable time loop to them and make sure that they understood it? The answer this person gave me? They should just know, bro. They should just know what time travel stories are. So as a reminder, the people who think that Kingdom Hearts isn't convoluted are people who make shit up and think that you should know everything already anyway. Or in the worst case scenario, are people who just don't care. Kingdom Hearts isn't simple, you people just don't care. And it's fine if you don't care. A lot of people like series that aren't internally consistent, but don't ever try to argue that it is, because you're accepting that it's not. I would say the Kingdom Hearts fans need higher standards, but considering the fact that a lot of people even talking about this conversation were fans of Dream Drop Distance, I don't think there's any hope anytime soon. Kingdom Hearts 4 2028, everybody.